great opportunity for you guys to be here. COVID has put a damper on all things, so I'm glad that everybody can be here without masks and be able to enjoy each other's company. I'm going to hand it off to my friend over here, and he's going to tell us more.
Hi, my name is Elias Smith, aka aka Scott E. Dog. Some of y'all remember that, some of y'all don't. Class of '95. It should have been class of '93, but you know, college. And there was a girl around who I was looking at, so. I'm going to be your MC for this evening, and he picked the one that does not like to talk. When I saw it in the email, I called him, and I was like, how did I get on program? And you remember when I asked you 2 years ago? I don't remember 5 minutes ago, let alone 2 years ago. But I'm here, but I'm glad to do it, because let me get this out the way. Let me get this disclaimer out the way. Larry and I are not friends. We are not friends for 31 years. Well, actually, we were friends for 1 year. And for the 30 years after that, we've been family. We are no longer friends. This is a family thing. So we always show up for family, and you'll be hearing a lot of stories as we go through this evening. Right now, we want to have an opening prayer by BOP alum, Superintendent, Pastor Bobby Fields.
An intro like that, man. Let us go to God in prayer. Father, we thank you for this time, for this privilege that we have to join together with our brothers and sisters in Christ, and even with some that may be just visitors. Lord, we pray that you will have your own way this evening. God, as we celebrate 30 years of you blessing this choir, blessing this family, and blessing this man of God, Larry Irvin, Lord, we want to make sure that we give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. For without you, we are nothing. God, we pray that you bless this service. We pray that you make yourself known. And when we leave this evening, let us talk about the good times that we've had here, but also let us talk about the great God that we serve. In the name of Jesus, we pray and praise. Amen.
And we can't have this day without having the president of our wonderful institution speak. So Dr. Brian Coker, who I met on the walk in, yes.
Thank you so much. Great to see all of you here. Again, I'm Brian Coker. I have the honor of serving as the 12th president of the college. And I have to, where's Aaron Solomon? Right over there. Aaron Solomon in the back. He hired me. Seriously, Aaron was the student on the search committee that brought me to the college. So if you're unhappy with things are going, just talk to Aaron after a while. But it is such an honor to have all of you here. It's a wonderful day on campus. If you don't know, it's also what we call Ken Takahashi KT Global Day at the college, where members of this college community are engaged in service projects literally all around the world. Now, this morning wasn't the best weather for it, but we were able to do some great things here on campus, and if you go to our social media, you'll see where we, around the world, will fulfill our college mission of doing good on the largest possible scale. I want to welcome the alumni and friends and special guests that we have, as well as all those who are joining us virtually. I've heard that is a big crowd. Well, one purpose of today's event is to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of the start of the Voice of Praise Choir. All of us know that there's a really other big reason, right, that we are all here today. and that is to really celebrate the legacy and pay tribute to Larry Irvin in his final semester as a Maryville College employee. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to clap for him. I warned Larry I'm embarrassing him a few times. When I was installed as the 12th president in October 2020, I set forth as one of my primary objectives to become a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive community. As I so often state, the college has a remarkable history and legacy regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially for a college in the South. However, as I stated then, and I will state again now, we must commit to and boldly continue with our efforts to do better. Oftentimes, when we talk about the college's legacy as it relates to diversity and equity, we think of those long ago stories of William Henderson Franklin, Mary Wilson, or Ken Takahashi. They're all graduates who broke barriers, and they are remembered for the inspiration they provided. But today, I submit to you that Larry Donovan is very much part of that important legacy too, because of who he is and all that he has done for the college. We'll talk a little bit about his history here. Larry started his employment as a resident director in Gamble Hall in 1991. I heard it smelled a little bit better at that point. Is that true? It did. Not too long after he enrolled as a non-traditional student, set on finishing his degree. Larry was a very important role model for many students and has said of those early years in Gamble, and I quote, "I realize that a lot of the residents, white and black, may have never seen a single African-American man shoulder such responsibility, follow the rules, and do the right thing." A year after moving on to campus, Larry started the Voices of Praise Gospel Choir as a way for fellow Christians and musicians to express their faith. But he has not let religion or musical ability determine a person's involvement. He has always welcomed all voices of praise. And let me speak about that word, voices, for just a minute. Students of color on this campus have not had to be in voices of praise for Larry to hear their voices. Larry has heard their voices and their perspectives in so many other ways. Through his work at the Office of Multicultural Affairs, through advising the Black Student Association, through assisting with the Erskine Tutorial Foundation, and through assembling the Multicultural Advisory Board. And through many of these same organizations, Larry has facilitated important conversations on this campus. He taught a course on Motown for a few years. He helped students better understand the issues surrounding the civil rights movement through that course. He has helped bring the campus together through programming for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday and Black History Month. Larry has advocated for students time and time again, and many of you are here today because of Larry. He was instrumental in conceptualizing the Maryville College Diversity Award. And Larry has also helped tell an honest story about the college's integration, something that is so important. He frequently welcomes alumni of color to this campus, including the late Nancy Smith Wright, the college's first African-American woman graduate and the first to graduate after reintegration. Larry was instrumental in creating the Nancy Smith Wright Unity Award to recognize an individual or organization that consistently demonstrates unity through diversity within the college community and beyond. Larry will present that honor, I believe, for next Tuesday. That's right. Among the awards Larry has received here is the Spirit of the Covenant Award. This award recognizes individuals who embody the spirit of the principles of scholarship, respect, and integrity as outlined in the college's covenant and is etched on that stone in the center of campus. When presented with that award in 2007, this is what was said of Larry then. I'm going to keep embarrassing you for a little bit, not too much longer. It was said, "Larry has been committed to honoring the worth, dignity, and freedom of all students, faculty, and staff on this campus. As a valued part of this community, he is also committed to truth, honesty, dependability, and responsibility in his actions and the actions of those whom he influences. Larry epitomizes the lifelong search for learning and intellectual creativity in all that he accomplishes, and he embodies the strength, humility, and gentleness continually blesses this community with his remarkable musical talent as an instrumentalist, vocalist, and conductor. The Maryville College community is grateful that Larry has imparted his love of life and of God to others on this campus through his smile, music, faith, and persistence. So Larry, thank you. And Larry, what I want to say to you personally is this. As a president who is deeply committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and someone who has made such efforts a significant part of my life's work, I want you to know that the efforts we're undertaking now here at Maryville College, and that we will continue to undertake, I promise you, efforts to truly become a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive community. Larry, those efforts would not be possible without the solid foundation you have provided for that work. So Larry, Don, Irvin, thank you for providing that foundation. Maryville College is a better place today because of you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Coker. All right. Anyone that's been to a VOP concert now, that the first half is always formal. You know, when you come out in your robes, you know, you're gonna sing the anthem, do all that stuff. And in the second half, but we're gonna go back in the back, come out and the robes are gone, and we in t-shirts and jeans. It's time to let our hair down. My hair is gone, but it's time to let your hair down now. All right, all that stuff out the way. It's time to relax, and we're gonna celebrate. So I was thinking, how am I gonna start this? When I think about VOP, I remember Maryville College before VOP, and then during VOP. I remember that first night. I was there in the CCM in a bad storm. I mean, it was rocking. Thunder and lightning, I mean, it was crazy. I can see Tish. I think she's gone now. She's first president. I can see Tish sitting on the floor. When I see Levita, Bert, all those guys. Larry was there, and something was brewing in that storm. Something was brewing. And when we walked out of there, following behind Larry Irvin, who was following God, a storm brewed all over Maryville College. And VOP has been shaking and rocking Maryville College ever since that day. Because something changed. Something changed in all of us. Me, I was the quiet, shy one. You won't see that in the videos. But it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Those of you who don't want to speak, I'm going to bring the mic around all during this evening. And we're going to tell VOP stories, and we're going to tell Larry's stories. Larry's always brought his family in. I mean, we were all family, but he brought his family in. Leo was right by his side every step of the way. And if you've never heard Leo sing Near the Cross, Missing the Last Choir, you haven't heard it. So I got a Leo story. I don't even know if he knows we were there. I took my girlfriend at the time, who was now my wife, to see Patti LaBelle in Knoxville. And Patti had this segment of the show where she brings people on the stage. And she messed up and gave Leo the mic. Needless to say, halfway through his song, she took the mic back. Because she she was going to lose some fans that night because he tore it up. This brother can sing, and it runs all the way through the family. Now, speaking of singing, one of Larry's many groups, I remember he talking about, what was it, 96 group? Was it something called Silver Fox or something? Yeah, those old pictures. Them thinking they cool back in the day. But you know, there's an old man. I remember standing in front of the fact, me and Greg Marmon, 19 years old, and this guy walks up. Larry was in his 30s. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm a music major this year. Huh? Music major, man, what can you do? Needless to say, he showed us what he could do, and we've been rolling ever since. In that old van, packed with stuff, we didn't even have places to sit. I told his daughter, who's sitting over there, we used to roll to Rock Hill, South Carolina. Come on, E, let's go. We need to go see my kids. All right, Larry, let's go. Larry was always calm. And when he called, you know you had to do something. We was talking about that earlier. You always hear that familiar phrase and voice. Yo, E. What, man? We need to. Even now he calls me, but he's changed it now. It's, yo, E, how's everybody doing? And then he goes into what we have to do. And you can't tell him no, because you know, if Larry is doing something, it's because God told him to do it. So you had to get up, because God uses people. And God put Larry Irvin here at Maryville College for us, because we needed this. And I've never told him this. I was thinking about leaving Maryville College at the time that he showed up. I was done. First of all, I'm from Miami, Florida. Culture shock like you wouldn't believe. I can't even understand these people. I mean, the accents. Excuse me, and the black ones too. What? What? But VOP became something that we were familiar with, because everyone, if you've grown up in an African American church, you know, that was like going home. And it kept us here, kept us together. But, just like the president said, it wasn't just for us, because God is for everybody. It didn't matter if you were Catholic. It didn't matter if you didn't believe in God. Come on and let's sing, because I guarantee you by the time we got through and God got through, you were walking down the aisle on your knees, confessing. We've seen it happen time and time again. And that's what made you know it was a higher purpose. Larry said this job, Maryville College, that job was made for him. It was. He was the one that had to do it. He was the one that God sent. And then he brought all the rest of us in. 30 years later, it's still here. Okay, that's enough for me. Y'all are gonna be next. But we need Smooth Groove to come up here. Smooth Groove to come up here. And let's get this thing popping. I know I'm educated, but let's get this thing popping.
y'all, okay? Even though we got some music that ain't totally church. But yeah. There's chairs around, right? Everybody got a chair? Hopefully. Y'all got chairs? Nick? Y'all okay? Okay, all right.
They don't even sit down though, do they?
No, well, I'd love for you to stand up and sing along, okay? You know the song, clap your hands as we go.
This is a song for everybody that's going through something. And the thing is, you're going through something.
When the sickness won't leave my body, and the pain just won't leave my soul, I get on my knees, say, Jesus, please, there's a blessing in the storm. Help me sing it. There's a blessing in the storm. When the sickness seems love again, and the raindrops won't ever end. If you just hold on, those clouds will soon be gone. There's a blessing in the storm. Help me sing it. There's a blessing in the storm. The storm. The storm.
It's Larry's time to shine now, isn't it?
You see.
He's always shining.
I know.
Yeah, I'm usually the one picking at everybody be with you, baby. 'Cause you got me and you stop me. And don't wanna leave, baby. I like the way you move. I like the way you move. I like the way you move. I like the way, I like the way, I like the way you move. I like the way you move. I like the way you move. I like the way, I like the way. Your love light is my light. I love the way you make me feel it's alright. You always shine like the light. I like the way you're showing up like a man. Your love light is my light. The way you make me feel is alright. Your will always shine like a light. Woo! Here we go. I like the way you're showing up like a man. I like the way you're showing up like a man. I like the way you're showing up like a man. I like the way you move.
Testing. Y'all know y'all could have gave us more than that. We're trying to get this. This is not only VOP's party, this is your party. So maybe if we could strong arm and give us another later on before it's all over. I remember the first concert in the recital hall in the FAC. Those who know what the FAC is, it's the Fine Arts Center. We love the FAC. And we were jamming. I mean, we were jamming. And those people in the audience just sitting there, they was like, wait a minute. We having church, y'all, and they were just sitting there looking at us like we were acting crazy. We was like, oh, Lord. How is this going to go? Because this was something Maryville College hadn't seen before. People didn't know how to react. Also, we had some stumbling blocks. But, as I said before, it's a God thing. So God puts people in front of you who was going to clear the way for us. And there was this little woman on campus, little in stature, but a giant on this campus. And she advocated for every student that ever walked on this campus. She was an advocate. And when it came to VOP, she cleared the way for us. She was knocking down the obstacles as they came. And before VOP sings, she's going to speak. Dr. Sue Wyatt.
afternoon. I gotta tell you, in the late 80s, Gamble Hall was a little bit of a zoo. Can anybody testify? I don't know if anybody's here. Has anybody ever lived in Gamble Hall on this campus? All I can say is, and some of my best friends are football players, but all I can say is, if we had a home game on a Saturday with a full moon, we just went ahead and had the police here with a squad car. We had extra security. Gamble Hall was a bit of a zoo. And we had run through any number of assistant football coaches as the RD. You know, we couldn't pay him hardly anything as a coach. We couldn't pay him hardly anything as an RD, but it was a roof over their heads. And so we had brought fellas in, and one after the other. And so by around 1990, 1991, I was in a season of prayer when spring came around, because I knew I was going to have to find somebody else for the coming fall. And one morning, we had some sort of convocation or something and had a picnic out in front of Pearson's Hall for everybody. And I sat down at a picnic table with Leslie Neer, who was the dean of students back then, and she introduced me to Larry Irvin. And by the time we finished lunch, I said to him, would you be interested in coming and talking to me about running Gamble Hall? And he said, well, yes, but. And he started to tell me his story. And Leo can testify. He's had some ups and downs. And I was never sure whether he got in with the wrong crowd or he was the wrong crowd, but he had some ups and downs. And I could tell he was thinking, this is a sweet little church lady, and if she finds all this out, this is not going to happen. So I might as well just go on and tell her, and we'll get it over and done with. I was thinking, yes, thank you, Lord. This is what I've been praying for. This is what Gamble Hall needs. And so he ended up coming and working for us as resident director in Gamble Hall. And I'll tell you, those fellas jumped to two conclusions real quickly. They looked at Larry Irvin and they thought, I'm not going to get away with nothing because he's already done it all and he's going to smell it out. There's no point in blowing any smoke to this guy. And number two, I don't want to get on his backside because I don't know what he might do, and I can pretty well figure it's not going to be covered in the student handbook. So it was a match made in heaven. And when Kim came along, it just got better. She helped him make Gamble Hall a home. And there was a whole new day for those fellows in Gamble Hall. And then VOP came. And Pat brings with her, not Pat, Kim brings with her Ms. Pat, who had the biggest heart and the best cook in all of Blount County, in my opinion. And they began to build a home for a whole array of students on this campus. And offering this campus an opportunity to express love and faith and care for one another. And then one day he says to me, we were needing an office manager, and he says, there's this lady over at St. John Missionary Baptist who I think could make a decent office manager. And her name is Belinda Kenny. And if that wasn't an understatement, there isn't such a thing. And Belinda came on board, and Vivian Hill came on board, and they took me to school. And they taught us how to make our office a more welcoming, respectful, loving place. And between VOP and the international student program that Larry started, they made this campus a more welcoming caring, respectful place. You know, there is not time to stand up here and tell you how Larry Don Irvin has changed my life and changed this little world we call Maryville College. But Larry, all I can say to you is in this season of prayer, it's a prayer of gratitude for you, for your friendship, for the honor of working beside you, and for the blessing and gifts you've given to this campus and this world through Maryville College. Thank you, my dear friend.
Those of you who don't know, this is being live streamed. When I went back there and looked, Larry's son is watching. Sean, hey, everybody say, hey, Sean. Hey, Sean. Also, I want to say hi to Laura, and there was a Paula, and I'm not going to name it. I'm getting old, too. I can't remember. But I do remember those doggone vests. Those kente cloth vests that you're gonna see in the video. I remember Miss Pat dogging Larry out over those. Oh, she hated that. Who did you get to make those? I could have done better than that. Back in the day, we had some ugly outfits. The vests, the ugly ties, what Larry thought was cool. The fuchsia and black. Maryville College is orange and garnet, and we wore fuchsia and black. And those first rows, I don't even know where he got those from. They were donated from somewhere. They didn't even match. I didn't even have one. If you look on the first CD cover, I'm wearing the vest that my mother made. I was looking good in that vest. I found it last year. It's a leg warmer now. Because I was a good size. Until Larry, who's always bringing other people around, she mentioned Miss Pat. And when I had her broccoli casserole, it was over with. Broccoli casserole and fried chicken and some tea, and that's all we needed. On a Sunday, it could have been a Wednesday, I don't care. Rest in peace, Miss Pat. We're gonna miss you, because when you say VOP, you've got to mention Miss Pat. Because she was just a part of this as anyone else. Mama Pat. She was everybody's mom. When me and my wife got married, my mom was long gone, passed away. Miss Pat stood in my mom's place. At my wedding, when I always, remember I told y'all this was family. We're not friends. We're not friends. She stood there, and she gave me away to that beautiful woman sitting over there. We were the first VOP couple. We were the first VOP marriage. We had the first VOP child, who is now 25 years old on her own, doing great, grad school. And she would have been here, but she had to do something. He was sent here to make a change and to change people's lives. And that's what he has done, and that's what VOP has done. Now, I told some of you guys I'm going to pass the mic and let you tell your stories. But first, it's time for VOP 30. Now, you're going to hear two songs. I was thinking about what I said earlier. The first song is all dignified, it's the anthem, and it's the first song VOP ever did. And then the second song you need to be on your feet. Not because of how it sounds, it's because of what it says. I won't turn back. Won't turn back. I'm flipping. Larry, look back and see what God has allowed you to do. It was a beautiful thing. All these people are here. And sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you want to say, forget it. It's not worth it. But you didn't. You didn't give up. You didn't turn back and go back to do whatever. You just could have been a dorm director and just left it alone. But you didn't. Because it was changing people's lives. And that's what you were sent here to do. You and everyone involved with you. I met this man right here. Jay Lindsay. Right there. Pushing and pulling. All down for the cause. Where's the guy that lived in Cleveland, Tennessee? Marcus. Funeral director. Can make that thing sing. Still here. For the cause. To help people, to bless people, to change people's lives. Okay, that's enough for me. VOP 30. Get up here, let's make it happen. Come on, y'all, they clap it louder than that. Here's VOP 30. 30 years, and it's still here. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it, whether Larry's here or not, let's get 30 more, cause it's not over yet.
Every
give it up again. Come on, give it up again. That voice of nature, the American College, Voices of Praise. Back in my day, we would say MC, and then everybody else would say, there you go, let me hear it. MC? MC? Y'all just don't know. It's good to see Mr. Yosef back there. Show up and say, hey, Yosef. I don't know about y'all, but I like old school. Since I'm old school now. Old school. Old school Maryville College. Okay, there's a lady who's supposed to be directing us. Rebecca Marsh, right there. She's gonna tell us what to do because I know y'all wanna eat. And while you're eating, somebody's gonna come around and put a microphone in your mouth. And anything you want to say about Larry, good or bad, because the bad always leads to something good anyway. So, say it about Larry, about your time in VOP, first time you saw VOP, because it won't be the last time you see VOP, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so, Jay's going to go around? Okay. The floor is yours. Y'all got to eat first. It's time for the Legacy DVD. No, but I asked him. That's that fuchsia and black I was telling y'all about. Lord have mercy. And those ugly ties that you can't see, but if you get up close, you'll see it. And that's the fact right there, y'all. The Cider Hall and the Fine Arts Center. I believe that Wogan's over there. Larry was slim too. Kim hadn't started cooking for real yet. If you're still in here and you're on that stage right now, raise your hand. Anybody here that's on that stage? She will. Yeah. onions at Miss Pat's house. Larry wasn't skinny no more. Is that Trent Gilmore on the keys? Is that Trent? Uh-oh, let's go ahead and tell it. This is Larry singing, and this is the first time I got to direct VOP. Yeah, that's mean the storm is passing over. Larry looking like Kimbo Slice. those who couldn't sing tenor for real was happy for that song. We finally sing bass. There goes another vest. She was so mad over that one. I see Teray. Randy, are you in this one? Heather? Calling out Tara. Rest in peace. That's Tiny, y'all. Titanic. Pastor Wilson Chapel. Wilson Chapel is gone. It was right here. Sister Gloria didn't just walk through the door.
Larry always really was very accepting of anybody that came, and so that was what really made an impact on me. So that's all I have to say.
Before she starts crying.
So I took a January term class on Black gospel music with Larry, and that's how I fell into Voices of Praise. This would have been in the mid-90s, somewhere 94, 95. And I would say that Larry absolutely changed my life. Just honestly, up to that point, I really had never even experienced diversity at all. Everywhere I had ever lived was woefully white. And also, I think Larry filled a void just in loving me, like a father, really. Gosh, so emotional. And I think I would say also that I can't really overstate what an impact he's had on my teaching. I teach currently at Lipscomb University, and I go into every classroom expecting to love them first and knowing that it's really not even about English, but it's about love. And in that way, I think I carry Larry with me every day.
I am Bobby Fields, class of 95. I'm also a South Floridian, but I'm from the other side of Florida. Sorry, E. I had a lot of stories to share, so I wrote notes. You don't want the preacher up here without notes. It would be a while. So, I could talk about how the big, bald black man made me sing in the choir, when all I really wanted to do was chill with the attractive young lady that invited me to come hear them sing. I could talk about that, but I won't. I could talk about the time that you saw in the video where he made Elias wear that drum major hat with the whistle and the baton, but I won't. I could talk about the time he was directing us and all of a sudden his suspenders broke and he had to hold his pants up and direct us with one hand. And that was hilarious. But I won't talk about that. I could talk about how I blame him for my Larry Irving ear and my Larry Irving face. When I hear people singing and it don't sound quite right, I make that Larry face. We've all seen it, but I won't talk about that either. In all honesty, what I will talk about is the time that this man picked me up from the airport when I forgot to make myself a ride available when I flew back in from Florida. I called, he said, "You need me to come pick you up?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm on my way." I will talk about how when I did come to the choir, I couldn't sing a note, but he did let me rap. So I was a gospel rapper for a while until he allowed me to sing. And it worked out. I I will talk about the times that he's prayed with me and he's prayed for me. I definitely want to talk about that. I also want to talk about when he invited me to the church that he was a deacon and Sunday school leader at, where I ended up joining there, and then I ended up joining the choirs there. Then I ended up becoming a deacon there. Then I ended up becoming a youth minister there. Until finally now, I'm a pastor out in Loudon. And it all started because of what God blessed this man to do here in Tennessee with me. And I also want to talk about the time that he, his lovely wife Kim, Mama Pat, traveled all the way down to Orlando, Florida. And they sang and played at my wedding. That's the man that I want to talk about today. Brother Larry, you have been a blessing from day one. You took a little peculiar boy from Florida who couldn't sing and carry a tune in a bucket, as you used to say. Yes, I heard you say it. You were patient, you worked with me, and I knew I mentioned it before, but you may have forgotten. It was because of you that I grew stronger in Christ. I read my Bible more. I got into the ministry of preaching because of the ministry of singing. And I can say now that ever since 1995, I have been in someone's choir or someone's praise team because of the great time that I had in VOP, worshiping and praising God with that crazy big bald black man. Brother, I thank God for you. Without you, there would be no me. Without you, there would not be me and Tanya, who wish that she could be here, but she can't. We weren't the first VOP couple. I think we were number 3. We were number 3, but we were the best couple. But don't hate me, Sister Katrina. I'm joking. She wished that she could be here, but she couldn't. But brother, everything that God has blessed me with in the ministry, he started with me. I will never forget that. You may retire from here, brother, but you'll always be working in my life because I'm singing, Sister Tanya's singing. Our boys are in the music ministry. Well, I shouldn't say ministry yet, but they will be. And I just thank God for you, brother. And later on, when I become Dr. Fields at the end of this year, I'm coming back to say thank you again, brother. God bless you.
I just want to know why all these Florida boys dating the women in BOP. But I showed you how to do it. Where am I going next?
I should have known this one. But you are. It's okay. Yes, you are. Circa 2009 through 2013. Miss Larry, we're sorry. I know we give you a heart attack every now and then. For the new school, college, y'all over here, we're the reason why y'all can't go into Anderson, the House in the Woods, and a couple other places. Miss Belinda, where else did we get banned from? Larry was definitely a supportive person throughout all 4 years that I was here, and then even after when I was a staff member at Marable. And so thinking back on our days as a student, I think I'm the oddball out. I lasted in VOP for a week. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sing and I couldn't play my instrument, so I decided to go into the BSA side, and that's where a lot of my interactions came with Mr. Larry. And so we've had our haunted houses. We had several Kool-Aid parties that were amazing. That was probably one of the highlights of all of our experience here as a student. But the one experience that really stuck out to me was that my senior year, this is how I knew Larry's heart was in the right place, and he was there and still here on this campus for a reason. My senior year, we were on our way to Tusculum College, where we had to learn about grown folk business. Miss Larry knows about that. And during that time, it was actually when I found out that I lost somebody really, really close to me. I'm way away from campus. My mom's down in Chattanooga. My friends are on campus. Larry had to speak during that time and run a session. He packed all my stuff up. We were on the school bus.
He prayed over me, my family, my extended family during a hard time, which most people had never heard me cry because I hold it in, I'm a G. But during that time, I knew that was the hardest part of my 4 years here at Maryland College. Larry, out of the goodness of his heart, said, "Come on, baby, get your stuff." He drove me all the way back to Gallenberg to meet my friends, and they took me back to Chattanooga to be with my mom. Larry didn't have to do that whatsoever. He could have said, "We won't have to make it until Sunday until we come back," but out of the pureness of his heart, out of the goodness of his heart, he drove me back. I won't tell you how fast he was going, but he made it down here and he made it back. Larry is the reason why I do a lot of the work that I do today. He was an inspiration. I love diversity work. Working with college students was something that I enjoyed, and so because of him, I was able to do some of the same work. Extended, seeing some of the students that I was able to work with. I see all of y'all over here, y'all graduating or have graduated, but seeing how he worked through all of us, it made an extension. My first connection with Larry was through Elias. When he came down to Chattanooga, was at Tyner, and I was able to meet him and already form a bond. Larry, we love you. We love you, old dude, is what we used to call you. You have been an amazing person and still are an amazing person. We thank you. I'll speak for the classes of 2009 on up to when I graduated. We love you and we appreciate everything you've done for us. We appreciate you fighting for us every single day on this campus. And I wish you a happy retirement. Come on down to Chattanooga. We'll take you to all the good spots down there. And we'll still go on tour. We'll just pack up a van and we'll meet you down there.
Okay, let's get one more. We need a new.
I brought notes as well. Tatiana Watts, class of 2020. I'm an ESL major. I'm minored in psychology. Come on, Aria. Okay, thanks. Today I brought my mom, my sisters, my brother-in-law, and my nieces. Give me a minute, because I have a little ways to go. I remember it's been 2 years since I've been back. And I'm so happy to be back with Larry and VOP, which is a very important part of me. But I remember when I was a prospective student and MC, I was here to visit, and Jericho was the one who picked me up from the airport. I remember meeting with Mr. Larry in the penthouse, and he gave me a brief description of all the clubs and scholarships that he was over, that he controlled. Our Lama Scholarship, that supports the students of color, Black Students Alliance, which the title, very straightforward. We spoke on those two for a little bit, and it's easy to speak on your nieces and nephews, but your children, something that you took time to create, something that you watched flourish for 31 years, Mr. Larry eyes lit up. His words was illuminated. I could see the love and the passion that he had for Voices of Praise. After our conversation, I knew God had answered my prayer about which school I was going to attend for the next 4 years. I saw myself in the choir just singing my little heart out, and that's exactly what I've done for the last couple of years. Honestly, VOP is what brought me here, and is what kept me here. Everyone was aggravating, especially Aaron. But, I knew I can always count on all of them. I know I can count on all of them to have my back as I had theirs. We had people of all different backgrounds to worship God, to pray with, to uplift. I love caring for people and
God placed about 15 to 20 people in my hands to soften my heart. When we went on tours, I was the grandma. I was the first one to go to bed, but before that, I made sure everyone was okay. Everyone was straight, the band, Ms. Kim, Mr. Larry, all the members, I made sure everybody was okay. Voices of Praise was the highlight of my 4 years, and everyone in this room can attest to that. Mr. Larry. I would like to bring this man, very special man of God, who I've adopted as my uncle since freshman year to life. A man that opened up his life to care for each and every person who sang with VOP, worship with VOP, and ministered through VOP. I truly thank God for your obedience. That's right. I truly thank God for your obedience. I wasn't there 30 years ago in the CCM, but I wasn't even thought of, but I wish I was, just to witness like the rich history that started VOP. Uncle Larry, always remember Deuteronomy 31:8. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Fear not, neither become broken. God went before you and created a space just for you and all your gifts here at Maryville College. He walked through you during every test and trial, and he held your head up through each one. As you take your next journey, remember God's word. He's already made a space for you. He is there, and he won't fail you. Don't fear, this chapter of greatness has closed, but so much more is near. I thank God that he placed you in my life. I thank God for my dream of coming true, for singing with VOP one more last time. And even better, for my family to be a part of it and my mom to finally witness me being here. I love you. I love you so much. And my memories of VOP will always be there to me.
There's nothing else for me to say after that. Oh, wait a minute, they're raising their hands. You gotta keep sitting there, brother. Cause we gonna go to the new school. Come on, brother. Just come on up. We got the time, and if you don't have the time, then it is what it is.
All right, my name is Robert Thomas. I came to Maryville in 1990. So I was here when Larry started up and came down to Gamble Hall. I used to play football, and he was our resident director. When he did come up and introduce himself, he was like strictly business. So everybody in there was paying attention whenever he gave his opening speech to us. I later become one of his resident assistants, and then I joined the choir. And I entered the choir in 94 as a president. And, you know, I grew up in a poor area, and there wasn't a lot of positive black role models. And I didn't really have a father either. So when I came to college, Larry was definitely that positive role model and like a father that I never had. So I really appreciate that. And I think there is nothing greater than to be able to sing praises to our God. And he's been able to do that for 30 years in the choir. And I was thinking about that the other day. It's like there is no greater blessing in this world than to be able to sing praises like he has been able to do all these years. He's greatly blessed. And he has been a definitely large impact in my life. And I remember when we was in Gamble Hall, he came in and he wanted to do some aerobics class out of church. And I was like, some aerobics classes, so all right. And when I went there, Kim was the instructor. So, and later they ended up dating. So it's like, now I know why he wanted to go do those aerobics classes. So, yeah. But yeah, Kim's great and her mom is great. When my family came down for graduation, we went over to Pat's house. They still talk about this to this day, how great her food was and how much they loved it. And they love it here just as much as I do. It's been a great blessing to have Larry here at the college. It's been a great blessing to be a part of VOP. And I'm so grateful and I wish him nothing but the best. And he probably never will understand the impact that he had on so many people's lives as they've come through VOP and have gone off into the rest of the world. But he's definitely had a great, strong impact in our lives. And we thank you for that.
So I'm the annoying Aaron Solomon, as Tati stated. Graduated in 2020, came in in 2016, a crazy 18-year-old kid from Houston, Texas, in a very, someone said it already, it was a very big culture shock for me coming from Houston. Same as everybody else, you meet Larry, he comes talk to you at the, opening ceremony, and then you're like, for me at least, I was like, oh, there's a black man here, awesome. Cool. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Coming out here was a big jump for me. Everyone who knows me and was through this journey with me knows I was ready to go after the first semester. But also my first semester, me and Larry met actually for the first time in the manner of sitting down in his office and us getting to talk. And at the time, when a lot of people don't know it, when I came in 2016, 2017, that school year, Larry was struggling in the manner of the stuff that he was dealing with as the advisor of students. And I had a very big passion, same as Jerica, for diversity, equity, inclusion. Like, that was one of the biggest things for me that I wanted to bring to this area and this campus. And Larry had brought to my attention that BSA had like 10 people in the room, and none of them was doing anything. And pretty much, it was just a hangout club. People would come in, they would sit there, laugh, joke, but nothing was really happening or coming from Black Student Alliance at the time. And I decided as an 18-year-old kid, I said, hey Larry, I want to be president. Which I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what president meant. But I will say, I was president of that for 3 years, and with the help of Larry at the head, Tatiana, Jerica, that was really it. We grew BSA from about 10 students to at least a good 50, 60 within a year. And I wouldn't have been able to really push through the challenges that we had without Larry. Same as everybody has already said, Larry's like a father figure to me. He knows he's like a father figure to me for a lot of different reasons. He kept me straight, I'll tell you that. When I would say stupid stuff, me and Larry have gotten really close over the years that we've known each other. I don't tell a lot of people, but I took his daughter to prom. I did it all, man. I like just being really connected, and that was a fun time. Is because at the end of the day, one, I didn't meet a lot of people like Larry. I didn't meet a lot of people like Larry. People that cared about you so much in your college career as a young Black man who's in a very uncomfortable spot and willing to say, hey, I got your back no matter what. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it 100, especially at a campus that really didn't have my back all the time. Larry was the main person to be like, hey, dog, we gonna get through this, and we gonna make some differences. We did a lot of damage in a good way to this campus in the 4 years that I was here. And I thank him for his guidance, his fatherhood, the lessons and discipline he taught me. When it comes to VOP, everybody who knows me, I am a preacher. That is what I was called to do. And when I got the opportunity to meet Larry and he brought me into VOP, oh Lord, God took over a whole nother part of my heart with VOP. And the ministry, the calling on his life, past Maryville College, I'm talking about outside of his job description, the man has the power of God flowing through him consistently. One of my favorite stories in the Bible talks about Paul and when he's put in prison, and there's something about that story, and for me, it talks about connection. He was in a prison cell and he felt like he couldn't get out, and he had to just worship. And throughout that story, we see all the different connections in it, because all the worship that Paul and Silas did in prison, it broke the chains of prisoners. It broke the chain of the guard. And when I say broke the chains of the guard, obviously the guard wasn't chained like a prisoner, but he was chained in his heart. And I'm gonna tell you right now, something about the worship that Larry brings breaks so many people's chains because they're connected to him. He broke chains off of my life. Obviously God ultimately, but without his prayer and his push and his leadership, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I probably wouldn't be here at Maryville College. I was ready to go. Larry, you're a father, man. You're another one of my fathers. And for everybody who may work here at Maryville College, Larry, even though you're retiring, I will say this myself, I'm gonna make sure your legacy lives on. I'm gonna make sure your legacy lives on. Because without you, I'm gonna tell you right now, Maryville College, dog, it's not gonna be the same. But I'm gonna make sure that that legacy lives on. VOP, BSA, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and care for children and students. Oh yeah, we're gonna make sure that keep going, man. So you don't have to ever worry about that. I made that promise to you when I first came to this campus, and we talked about it. And you were telling me about your next journey and everything. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but you told me 6 years ago, you were like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but okay. Man, I love you. Genuinely, man, I love you. And I thank you so much for your effort in a place that sometimes didn't give you the backup. Love you, man.
So people keep saying, Father, Larry's like a father, 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 father. I was like, okay, I guess I'll stand up since he's actually my father. I am Alonda, and if you see it on my name tag, you will notice that it doesn't look like it should be pronounced Alonda. That was Larry. All Larry. But on behalf of myself and my brother Sean, who did hear the shout out, E, thank you for that. And he is also a pastor, so he sent a lot. This is my son Silas, Larry's 4th grandson. This is from Sean. To all my VOP family, I wish I could have been there for this momentous occasion. I consider myself an inaugural member of VOP as my father started this whole thing. As the years went by, I and my wife have had the privilege of touring with VOP and having little to no voice. There weren't many times when I didn't take a song that VOP did and take it back to whatever choir I was directing. I just want to say congratulations on serving the Lord for 30 years. You set an example of how to extend beyond racial and ethnic lines for a common goal. And what better goal than to help people reach Jesus? To my father, I thank God for the legacy and foundation that you set forth not only at Maryville College, but for me and my family. My love for music, God, and my family is a byproduct of what you have done. So from the Irvin crew by way of Chicago, Illinois, we send our congratulations again, and we love you. So I am a teacher, and I will not teach, and I will not go on and on. I want to say that I kind of grew up with VOP. I spent a lot of time on this campus as a little girl, and so I'm envious of all of you who actually attended Maryville College because I was always just perpetrating. I spent a lot of time in Gamble Hall. It was all guys then. Is it still all guys? Okay, well, my cousins and I were there when it was all guys, and it was amazing. All those college guys who couldn't even say hi to us because of Larry. I mean, we were too young. But anyway, so I grew up on this campus. I grew up with VOP. That very first album, I probably had 17 copies over the years because that's how many times I played it. I know those songs from beginning to end. I can hear Sister Gloria's nails clicking on the keys in that recording, and a lot of those recordings. And so I am so grateful that the Lord allowed me and my family
to come and be a part of this celebration. A dream come true to actually wear the VOP shirt on the day that the thing is actually happening, not get my shirt later and pretend that I was there and watch a video. To have my husband here to be a part of that, to have my son who followed me into the choir because he's an urban and that's just what we do. I am grateful for my father, who is responsible for most of why I am who I am today. The wife, the mother, the teacher, the musician, and of course the daughter, because we all know that I'm your favorite of the three. Silas wants to say something, quickly.
What time they kicking us out? They'll be all right. DOP has never followed the rules on campus. We set the rules, and if they don't like it, talk to God about it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Come on.
Hello. My name is Jason. I'm a senior as well. All my senior friends are gone now, sadly. But I'm getting a degree in philosophy, and philosophy people really like broad, abstract, annoying concepts. So that kind of left me in this really weird idea coming from Memphis, a couple years older than everybody else, out here, thanks to Jericho. But the first year here, I didn't really do anything, and I was lost, and I really was frustrated and angry at the campus, especially with everything that I experienced at Gamble Hall. It's a whole mess, a lot of real racist people. But sophomore year, when I joined VOP, and I actually got to meet either in BSA first, I think, and then waddling my way, finally listening to other people, going to VOP to sing. And I just really saw a man who embodied something that I've been searching for. Someone like, who lives a principle. He calls it God, he walks the way of Jesus. And I haven't found that in my time in Memphis, my time mostly here. But through Larry, it kind of inspired me to search through history, to read like Huey Newton and all these other great people doing great things in the world. But you can't really stay in history. You got to look at the present and look at who's actually trying to live it out in real time. As frustrating as that experience might be, I know we've all had our eye rolls at Larry sometimes, but it's that principle, that guidance that he offered that really kept me here and not drop out a second time. Because there's just something special about Larry, and even in the short time that the freshmen have been here, I don't know where they are. I think they're going too. Wait, they might be behind the speaker. There they are, right there. That's the leadership of BSA right now. They've really been inspired by you, and even in that short time, you wrapping everything up here, you've given them something that they can't forget about. No, Isaiah's leaving, but they're gonna still be here, and they're gonna keep it going for you. And Dr. Klingensmith, I don't know if anyone's gonna do this, but you should try and organize an oral history of VOP. He's got a lot of videos, he's got CDs, and a whole lot of people still around. But that's all I gotta say. I really want to thank you, and I know I've not been the most consistent this year, but you're the one who kept me here. That principle.
My name is Dan Klingensmith. I'm the dean of the college right now. I'll just be very quick. So at the end of the day, this is the college, and what we do is education. And Larry Irvin has contributed directly or indirectly to the education of everyone on this college, at this college. And starting with me, you get out of a PhD program, and they tell you that you know a lot, and so you come to a college and you find out that you don't really I did not know just because I was a middle-class guy. I never lived believe it or not, I've never lived in an environment as diverse as Miracle College, and I know that we get some problems with diversity here. But I just want to say thank you for being a great collaborator to all the faculty and all the staff here. A lot of faculty have found that they could ask Larry for advice, that they could work on projects with him. I want to thank you for inspiring so many students, especially inspiring a lot of students who might have left to stay. And I just want to thank you for everything you've done to educate everyone on this campus.
Hi, my name is Callie Baker. I am going to be the oldest member surviving after you leave, and I promise you right this very second that I will not let you down. I'm not going to let your legacy die, because you have done so much through God and through your obedience to God, and to not let that continue would be a very much a shame. So I will not let that happen, and I will make sure that everything goes the way that it's supposed to, and the way that God leads us to. And I love you very much, sir. When I came to Maryville College as a freshman in 2019, I was here for my second semester. My grandmother died. And my world kind of fell apart. And that man right there sat with me and prayed with me and made sure I was okay. And there are several other members in this room, one of them being Jason, that also sat there and prayed with me and made sure that I was okay. And I was able to stand there and worship the Lord because I could see it through you. And one thing that I love seeing through people is seeing the love of God through people. And Larry, you just radiate it. It just comes straight off of you. So I'm very happy that you have touched my life, and I know that you've impacted so many people in this room and so many more that are not in this room. And I just like to say that your legacy, it will continue. I will make sure of that. Thank you.
We can go on. Wait, okay. Hey, this is worth it.
This won't take long. I just wanted to say I have a different perspective because I didn't attend Maryville College, and I knew Larry apart from Maryville College. In fact, we only moved here 4 or 5 years ago, and so my tenure was very short with Larry. The Apostle Paul called himself an apostle, but one born out of due time. And that's kind of the way I feel about me with Larry and my association with the Voices of Praise. I was connected with them, but I was kind of born out of due time. So I did not have the extent of the relationship that most of you all have had with him. And I'm really grateful, amen, for what the Lord did allow my wife and I to experience with Larry. One quick question, Larry. At the beginning of the session, we were looking at the video, and there was a young, skinny guy on there who sounded just like you. And you didn't have to tell me about him, but I don't know who that might possibly be. But anyway, I did want to thank you all for that, for the opportunity, and thank you for the promotion. You know, I got my doctorate years ago from UNC Chapel Hill, but when I came here and started working with Larry, I became Reverend Doctor. And I appreciate that. I've been elevated. Now I'm Reverend Doctor. So I thank the Lord for that. But really, the reason I stood up was because I wanted to thank the Lord for Larry and for what you have done with your inclusivity. You include people. You bring us in. And you make us feel at home. And you give us the authority to do things. We retired here, and I served in music, you know, tons of years. But when I came here, I was looking for something to do. And there was no real venue for me to express what I was doing. But right after we came here in 2017, there was this Martin Luther King choir that they were talking about. I said, well, babe, let's go see what that's like. And bless God if Larry wasn't there. And Larry started pulling you in and saying, you know, and bringing you and including you. You know, that's why the brother said that you became family, because you include folk. Even folk like me who can't sing and can't play and really shouldn't be up there, you know, you include us. And I just want you to know I appreciate you and for the way God leads you. Brother Aaron said that, you know, he hadn't seen very many people like you. There's a reason for that, because God didn't make very many people like Larry. God gave him a special gift. And those of us who are here recognize that. We understand that. And I just want to make sure that you understood that and understood how special you are to my wife and me. When I was coming up, and I'm done, the old folks used to sing a song at funerals. They would say, give me my flowers while I'm living so that I can smell the beauty that they bring. I am so grateful that people decided to give you your flowers so that you could hear what's in our hearts while you can yet hear and can experience the love that we have for you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All of us here, we love education and we love learning, but it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, how many letters you have behind your name. Is what is people, is what you invest in people. And the people who spoke talked about how they didn't talk about academics. You know, I work in the school system, I'm an administrator, and all we talk about is test scores and achievement and this and that and the other. What about the kids? Kids are not test scores. Larry, you showed us what it's all about. It's about investing in people and changing people's lives and changing their lives for the better. And something that a pastor used to say, and he probably still does, only what you do for God will last. So, VOP 30 is just a number, because it's going to keep going. Because that seed has been planted, and it doesn't have to be you, because what you have started is in so many other people. It's going to keep going, because you showed them and you showed us how to invest in people. And we're going to keep doing that and doing that. And we're going to teach other people to do it. And just from me to you, thank you. No one's going to say anything now. Talk to him later. Call him on the phone. Before we get kicked out of this place, he has some. Larry's going to have the last word. Larry, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone. I had told Rose that we would be out of here about 5:30, and it's almost 6:30 now. I made up some certificates to honor some of the musicians, but I was going back through with Leo. We were trying to remember all the people that I needed to get in contact with. There were over 40 people that have played different instruments for VOP through the years. Think about that. 40 people that donated their time, their skill, some that's been with me from the beginning, some that maybe just came in because somebody else couldn't show up, some that fought their husbands, I could tell stories about each one, and some people aren't here, but I'm gonna call their name. The first person that ever played for VOP, I called him, but he didn't answer, but still. Please give Mr. Trent Gilmore a hand, okay? The lady that would sneak and come and play for us, who spent many nights, I know, at the church trying to figure out the tunes I heard us singing and all, who over the years, well, fought everybody to come and help us. She was a graduate of Maryville College and still is a great friend, Sister Gloria Donaldson. One of the guys that's still with me that I really picked up through MLK, I think, when he first played, and we went over to his church and all, and I want to thank him for his time and talent. Mr. James Wyatt, where is it? Where? Nick. Let me go ahead and read these two names. Mr. Reverend Nolan Nevels, and we called him No-No. His son that played drums for us, and I want to give them a shout out. To our illustrious Master of Ceremonies, ever since I met you and Greg walking into the fact, the Lord has seen fit to join us at the hip. And it's been a pleasure and a blessing. You and your family, I love you, man. Here's a little something to hang on the wall. All right? A man that comes when I call. He plays bass for Smooth Groove, and he's played bass for VOP. If he'll get off the wall over there and come over here, Mr. Mike Heyman. Brother of mine that been playing music with us ever since, I think he and Leo were juniors in high school. Probably, yeah, I think it was about his junior year that he came and been playing trumpet for us. He's played trumpet for VOP, plays trumpet in Smooth Groove. Barry, where you at? Oh, okay, you know my eye. go ahead and get his little sister. She sang soprano on tour, plays keyboards for Smooth Groove. She says she remembers when we first walked in, we were going into Badger's house to rehearse in 96 Proof, and she was probably crawling in. Elizabeth, come here back. Give her a hand. This next guy, started back with me when we had the band 96 Proof, and Leo and all of us, we went up to his house about 3 streets away and carried his organ down to our grandparents to find out that it only went like 5 decibels. You know, it wasn't loud enough. So he got upset and we got upset. Born is, I talked him into coming to Berea College to play. And, whenever I needed someone to go on tour, he's been on tour with VOP. And he thought it not robbery to drive up from Alabama to be with me today, this weekend. Reverend Barney Johnson, would you please come forward? I've been blessed to have a little influence on many students, but one who's not here and ought to be here is Shane Lenore. And started him out on drums with you boys, and then he went to trumpet in the high school band. Then now he's one of the best guitarists around. Don't tell him I said that. But this will go to Shay. Y'all give him a hand. This guy here, I think he started out with Leo playing congas for him, and then we moved him over to Silver Fox. Played congas with Silver Fox. And now he's playing for VOP. He's a brother that when I call, he said, "Come get me." He's ready to go. One time we had to go rescue Leo. But I thank God for him, and he's a brother to the end, Mr. James Lindsay. I had to go all the way to Nebraska to get this guy. I told VOP that I had to rescue him from the cornfields and the hog pens and whatever else. But God sent him this way. He's a tremendous drummer. He's been a blessing because he keeps the back of the bus wrapped, to So, yeah, to my friend, Mr. Ernest D.C. Williams. has to drive really almost 2 hours just to get here. And he's not always in town. It's nothing to see him driving behind the bus in Baltimore or New York, wherever we went, because of his business. You know, he would have to maybe leave out whenever the call came. I thank you, Marcus, for all you've sacrificed. Would you please come forward, Mr. Marcus Tyson? The guy that got up and spoke last is a brother that I felt like I had known before, you know, that many of the experiences I was going through or had gone through, he had been through too. And we connected over those experiences. And I pray the Lord will allow me to help him realize some more of his dreams. So, Dr. James Gear, Reverend Dr. James Gear.
Thank you.
You know, I could name a bunch of other people, you know. I'm thinking about Sean, who lives in Knoxville, Richard, the guitar player that, oh gosh, where is he? Other side of Oak Ridge. Yeah, Herman. The Bell guy that played George Sportsman went to New York. Jeff Bell. There are a lot of people, you know, that I'm indebted to, that could do things that I could not do, that would help the ministry of VOP. As I say to all of y'all, I thank you. But there's one who has been by my side since playing on the back porch, you know, at our house. And he's really been the music master. He hears things that everybody ought to be playing. And will in a polite way correct you, you know? But I like to think that it's been a ministry for both of us. And I thank God for him and his lovely wife for letting him still weigh so much. Yeah, my brother, Mr. Leonard Irvin. Okay, we've been here too long. It's been a journey. And many of you all are just embarking on your journey. Keep God first. And whatever you do, don't forget to pray. Don't forget to ask for guidance. Don't forget to ask him to please open the door that you want me to walk through. Zoom people. I thank God for you. I thank God for all the staff that has done this, Steve, all Brennan, Rebecca with Mets, Rose who did all the PA and all the other staff. Thank you all. If the mic didn't cost so much, I'd drop it, but I won't do it again. God bless you.